And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. On the hotline with me now is Matt Barker, Category Manager for Powerteq. Folks, DiabloSport is one of Powerteq's brands, and as our Car Clinic listeners and viewers know, we've installed a DiabloSport Intune i2 performance programmer in our test vehicle, a 2015 EcoBoost turbocharged V6 F-150. I personally installed the DiabloSport Intune i2 in this vehicle, so I know how easy it is, and the truck owner attests to the performance enhancement. I invited Matt to join us today to tell us a little more about performance programmers. With that, Matt, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Glad to have you in the house.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me.
Okay, let's get started for our Car Clinic listeners and viewers who may not know, what is a vehicle tuning system?
Well, vehicle tuners, or programmers, as some people call them, are basically devices that rewrite and modify the calibrations within the vehicle, the vehicle's engine computer. So those calibrations can control everything from just standard drivability, horsepower, mileage potential, basically the entire calibration that runs how, that controls the fueling and how the vehicle drives. So our changes to those calibrations can increase power, we can increase mileage potential, make the vehicle tow better or go down the track in a quicker time, or we can account for special changes like hardware modifications or even personal driving preferences.
We're talking with Matt Barker, Category Manager for Powerteq. So, Matt, share with our Car Clinic listeners and viewers how tuners can improve fuel economy.
Well, fuel economy is, again, controlled in that calibration. So dependent upon the application, we do some different things, whether it be gas or diesel. Car and truck sometimes have some differences, too. Most of the time, we can build economy by advancing timing. In some cases, we lean out the vehicle's fuel mixture. We've also got some options to reduce throttle sensitivity, so you can stay out of that pedal a little bit more, and get a little bit better mileage curve. But basically, our calibrations are a little more efficient in their use of the fuel that you're getting from as compared to your stock maps.
So, Matt, tell me from a 30,000-foot view, what changes are made today or as compared today with tuners of years before? What is basically, I know that cars are more sophisticated and, of course, the onboard computers, but what are you doing today that wasn't being done 10 years ago?
Well, a big part of the difference that you've seen in the tuner market is that, it originally started with plug-in tuners that had no adjustment. They came with a preloaded tune that you physically connected to the computer. And as time's gone on, now our products are OBD2 connected, so that's the diagnostic port under the dash. They're 5-inch color touchscreens like our new Trinity 2 that have almost a cell phone experience with gauges, monitoring, data logging, diagnostics. We've even got some awesome stuff for performance tests, so you can, instead of going to your track, you can actually find a nice dirt road and get a 0 to 60 time or a quarter-mile time, whatever you like. But in the calibrations, that's definitely where the biggest changes have come. As the vehicles are more connected, there's more modules in there. We can actually adjust more things. Once upon a time when you tuned your vehicle, you got a screwdriver and you went out to a carburetor. But now, we have a lot of tools that we can do in the calibrations to make quite a bit of power. I mean, there's a whole different world out there now.
So Matt, I'm sure that there are a lot of techies out there that tune into the program, and of course our car owners as well with Car Clinic. But the question that I have, and I'm sure that many of our Car Clinic listeners and viewers have, is if your company, if Powerteq and DiabloSport can make these programs and increase the performance, increase the gas mileage, why don't the manufacturers, why don't the car makers already install those programs in their vehicles?
Well, we get the benefit of not having all of the same rules that car manufacturers have to follow in terms of whether it be their longevity tests or almost the restrictions that they have to go through in order to make calibrations. So we have the ability to put them into a real world test, throw them on the dyno, and really kind of extract all the power that was left on the table. So we're kind of in a little bit different ball game. They're just really heavily restricted, and we can bring out some of that extra potential that's hiding in the vehicles. And of course, we've also got custom tuning capability, because a lot of people don't leave their vehicle stock. So you get your car and you decide to throw headers on, or you throw on a forced induction setup. You need entirely different tuning, and those are all solutions that we can provide with our devices.
So this allows, of course, the owner to specifically tune his or her vehicle the way it should be and the way it can maximize the performance. And what I learned about, of course, the Intune i2 that we put into and programmed on the F-150 was that vehicle, at every touch of the button, if you touched the accelerator, you had instant response, and we noticed a drastic improvement in the shift between first and second and third. It would actually chirp the tires, and this vehicle, to this day, and that's been a year or so ago, Matt, this vehicle runs better, gets better gas mileage, and of course, one has to remember, when you have all that extra power, if you're driving for power, you're not driving conservatively. So there's kind of a misinformation I think that a lot of car owners have, is, well, I'm going to put on this vehicle, I'm going to modify it, and I'm going to automatically get better gas mileage. Well, that's true to a point, but I want to make sure that I was on the right page, so that when folks ask me a question about their car and their tuner, then I would say and be able to give them the correct answer. So am I right about as far as the conservative driving versus the power down?
Oh, definitely. We see it a lot. We'll get customers who, on their first, their first tank or their first couple of tanks, are expecting certain mileage, but realistically, they've been playing with the power. So I tell people a lot of times, just give it a little bit of time, wait for that wow factor of, holy cow, look how much more responsiveness we have. When they start driving like they normally would, they'll typically see more efficient fuel usage, definitely. But that power is tempting. That EcoBoost you spoke of, with the firmer shifting and more responsive tuning, it's definitely something that's tough to stay out of that right pedal.
Yeah, well, and no doubt this vehicle not only runs well, but the owner is just super happy. So I because of Car Clinic and the Powerteq, I became the hero. So hats off, of course, to you and your associates for making a whale of a product. Matt Barker, category manager for Powerteq, DiabloSport brand. Matt, thank you so much for joining us on Bobby Likis Car Clinic. I'll have to get you in the studio one day and take our calls live from across the nation.
That sounds great.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day, and appreciate your time, Matt.
Yeah, thank you for having me.